Welcome back, gamers, to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and if you happen to be new here, we put out daily content of all the latest and greatest gaming news, so tap that subscribe button, that way you never miss another video. Plus, comment down below with what the scariest game that you've ever played was. Now let's get into today's list of the top 10 scariest games coming out in 2020. In at number 10, Luigi's Mansion 3. This game is a long time coming for sure. The last Luigi Mansion game was 5 years ago, and with news of the sequel, we all got very excited to be fighting ghosts again. The trailer released for the game shows Mario's old partner in crime creeping around a haunted mansion as ghosts pop out of every nook and cranny. You'll have to use your Poltergust 5000 to fight off these ghouls as you battle the paranormal. The first game focused on Luigi saving his brother Mario, and with a third game coming out, it looks like Mario got himself into a doozy yet again. The game is believed to be released for 2019 but has already been pushed back several times, and Nintendo still hasn't officially confirmed the release date. In at number 9, The Last of Us Part 2. The first game in this series was insanely popular and is still one of the most beloved video games to this day, which means the Part 2 chapter of The Last of Us became extremely sought after even if we didn't know anything about it. The game is a third-person action-adventure style set in a post-apocalyptic world. When you start the game, you'll be playing 5 years from where we left off in the first game. You'll begin with a now 19-year-old Ellie as Joel watches over you.
But I can't walk on the path of the right, because I'm wrong.
In at number 8, Dying Light 2. While the first game in this series was well known for its close combat and crafting system, the narrative just didn't resonate that well with gamers. As a result, Dying Light 2 will be more plot focused, which will include things such as a variety of dialogue decisions that allow you to make different impacts. This will ultimately let the player shape the world around them, both visually and story-wise. Another key addition is the rivaling factions that will most definitely make the game more dynamic and allow for unique playthroughs. Techland has also promised that the game will have something new in store for gamers that want to play online as well, possibly an invasion mode that allows you to appear in someone else's world as a zombie. That'd be cool. As of yet, the release date is still unconfirmed.
Get him! You're dead now!
In at number 7, Darkborn. Way back in 2016, this game was called Project White. It was an action fantasy game where instead of playing as a human, you were playing as these Grendel-like creatures that were the hunted. For a long time, there was absolute silence on this great idea, and it has re-emerged under the title of Darkborn. In the game, you'll play as this fearsome creature capable of unspeakable brutalities. Although they do say that because of this, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are the predator in the game. They wanted to tell a story from a unique perspective of a marginalized hunter rather than the main hunters. The humans in the game are referred to as the pale enemy, and as you take on the role of these beasts, you will witness firsthand the tortures and extermination of your kind. In at number 6, Ad Infinitum. While some of the Call of Duty games and war-like games touch on the stories and life of World War I, very few games can do it well. Strict Labs, though, is doing something very special here with a horror genre game of World War I. It drops players into the maze of the trenches that are littered with these terrifying monsters. The game is a first-person survival type that forces you to navigate through the narrow trenches as you encounter these twisted creatures. You'll have to solve puzzles, dodge traps, and stay alive. There still isn't much known about the game, but it's definitely one that you want to keep your eye on. And at number 5, Last Hills. Created by an indie developer, Last Hills explored a slower yet more immersive horror game different from anything that we've ever seen. It too is a first-person survival game with obvious inspiration from films such as The Conjuring and Evil Dead. The world you will find yourself in is extremely interactive as well. Almost anything can be inspected, and the detail in the environment is truly stunning. Not to mention, the game will be crafted for virtual reality, adding to that feeling that something in the home is stalking you while you explore. number 4, Allison Road. These first-person horror games have become very popular in the horror genre category because of the inability to fully see what's around you. It places you right into the game, giving you an immersive feeling of paranoia as you go along. The game will have a minimal storyline that you must solve as the unnamed protagonist. When you wake up in a townhouse with a splitting headache, you move the protagonist around simply enough to find aspirin and then some water, all the while you're being stalked by some supernatural entity. And at number 3, Death Stranding. The developers of this game have done a terrific job of keeping the majority of the storyline under wraps while still releasing teasers here and there. It appears as though your character is in some strange barren Iceland inspired world where these mysterious shadow creatures terrify the inhabitants and your team. What's exciting is that you're playing as a carbon copy of Norman Reedus, who the devs have named Sam. During the teasers, we see that he's a delivery man in some type of post-apocalyptic world. One very good plot theory suggests that the characters in the game are aware that they are characters in a video game. It notes that they are conscious of our existence as the player of the game, that we impact their decisions and even their own existence. And at number 2, System Shock. It's being called one of the greatest sci-fi horror games of all time. The game begins in the year 2072 and your character is a hacker that wakes up from a coma in a research facility. As you explore said facility, you find that it's filled with mutants, cyborgs, and robots. The facility is controlled by an AI known as Shodan. The game is actually a reboot of its original iconic title released way back in 1994. Talk about ahead of its time. The release date of this game was confirmed by the business director Larry Kupperman, where in an interview with PC Gamer he said, "Our intention is to ship exactly the game that we promised, with as much of the features that were promised as we can, in a time frame that will get it out as fast as we can. Our expectation is probably Q1 of 2020. Lastly, in our number 1 spot, SCORN. This game was set to be released in October of 2018, but the console versions is still to be announced. We're hoping that it comes out at least by 2020, and in the game you as the player control a strange skinless human lost in this hellish world with strange creatures. They appear to be made up of steel, flesh, and bone living inside of a techno-organic structure. Throughout the game as you explore, you will slowly begin to learn more about this world and its interconnected regions. Overall, the game looks very disturbing with an emphasis on grotesque versions of humans that have an alien-like resemblance. It's by far one of the scariest looking games coming out in 2020 for sure. And that has been the top 10 scariest games coming out in 2020. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, show us some love by tapping that like and subscribe button. Plus, leave us a comment down below with your thoughts on this list. Which games are you most excited for? Let me know down below. And for more videos like this one, all you have to do is click that playlist on your screen. From Top 10 Gaming, I'm Johnny Rogers. Until next time, take care.